Hey, it's Mark with Anatomy of Tone. I'd like to talk about using AI as an assistant for learning how to use DAWs or notation software. I know there's a lot of hesitation and fear around AI. Some of it is quite founded, but there are also some really powerful and useful ways that we can be using AI before it takes over the world to just speed up our learning process when we're using new software as an example. So I have two pieces of software open right now. I'm going to demonstrate. I have Dorico open, and there's a piece of music that I'm working on. And then I'm going to demonstrate also using in Logic Pro right now, which I just have an empty session open. One of the biggest issues when learning DAW or notation software is the terminology or just the naming that they have for the various windows that are involved in the software or the name of certain tasks. And you have an idea often of what you want to do, but how to look it up and how to know what each particular DAW calls it can be confusing because different software sometimes will use different names for the same task, right? Or the same style of window. Now, in order to effectively learn how to use the software, it's good to have an idea of what each of these windows are called just as a starting point, and then we could refine our research. So I just want to show you an AI engine that I'm using. I have the Perplexity browser called Comet, but they also make a standalone app just called Perplexity that you could do searches in. And I use it a lot, so I actually have a pro account because I'm always checking on research, and I teach a lot of different DAWs, and sometimes I need to check in or fact check certain elements of certain DAWs and notation software. So Perplexity is a great backup tool just in case I'm getting my wires crossed. In the search field here, let's just put in let's see, I'm going to put in what is the main editing window in Logic Pro called. Okay. And what I like about Perplexity is it shows you all the places that it's getting its research from. And right now it's saying me there's the main editing window in Logic Pro is called the main window. Okay, so that's great. Let's see. Let's put in another DAW and see what it comes with. Well, what about in Pro Tools? Okay, in Pro Tools it's called the edit window, right? What about in Ableton? My arrangement view and session view, right? So arrangement view is what we call the main view in Logic or the edit view in Pro Tools. Knowing that is going to allow you to be able to do continued research. So let's look at Logic here. And okay, I want to create a MIDI region, right, in what we now know is called the main view, the main window in Logic. So just going to double check my research here. It's called main window. How do I create a MIDI region in main view of Logic Pro? And AI remembers your discussions, so you could just put in Logic. I didn't have to put in Logic Pro, but I'm doing that so you can see. To create MIDI region, it just gives us videos that we could watch, which is great. And it's saying right-click in the tracks area on an instrument track and create MIDI region from the contextual menu. So let's do that. I'm just going to stretch that out too far. I'm going to right-click and create MIDI region. Okay, there it is. And I followed that. Use the pencil tool. It gives us a couple of different options to create a MIDI region. Once the region is created, double-click on it to open the piano editor roll. Okay, here's another terminology. Already we're learning things here. Piano roll editor. I said it wrong before. Piano roll editor. Let's say that 10 times fast. Now we see the piano roll editor, and I could also follow that up. And how do I add notes to the piano roll editor? It remembers we're talking about Logic. So select the pencil tool and click the desired pitch. Time goes in. Okay. So we have a couple of different ways that we could do this. Create note. I just created right click on it, but I could also use the pencil tool it's telling me. So let me find the pencil tool here. There it is. And I can create different notes if I wanted to. And this is a way of creating notes without physically playing them with a MIDI controller. The point is, if I have never used Logic before, or I'm new to Logic, I'm taking Logic lessons, there's things that are easy to forget or you need to be refreshed on. But using the AI, I can get a really quick summarization of what I need to do in order to be able to execute the task and start learning what the windows are called and what the tools are called. And if you don't know how to select the pencil tool, okay, Logic, how do I select the pencil tool? It's searching a bunch of sites right now. It's showing me the sites that it's searching for. I click on any of those videos like I mentioned. Press the T to tool menu and press P, right? So let's see, T, and then there we T, and if I press P, yeah, there it is. It selected it, right? So it seems like T brings up the menu, and I can, if I wanted to hit the pencil tool, I can hit T again. So there we go, right? So now I'm just on the selector tool. Wonderful assistant to getting in and being able to work your way in a new piece of software, or even a software that you've been using for a while. For instance, Dorico, right? I use Dorico for all my notation and composition. Actually, I start my compositions always in almost always, unless I'm doing experimental improvisational composition where I'm composing live. But a lot of times when I'm doing traditional composition, I use Dorico. In the first half, you're going to see a section of music that I have written out. There's a lot of specific notation in here. And then this next section, I am just kind of working on the framework to what is going to be the B section, right, of the composition. Now, anything I wanted to learn how to use on here, if I wanted to arpeggiate this chord, I don't know how to do it. I'm going to go to my AI here, the Perplexity Pro. And by the way, there is a free version of Perplexity that works amazingly well too, so you don't have to have the Pro version. I'm going to put Dorico, how to add arpeggio to notes. And it's pulling it up. Ornaments pop over. Type ARP. Let's see if I do that, and that works. Okay, Shift O to bring up the pop over. ARP. Yeah, I did it, right? There we go. I mean, it's so great. I think sometimes reading manuals could be time consuming and overwhelming. And the thing that's great about AI is that it pinpoints right to the exact topic or idea that we need. And you could even ask it, like, was an arpeggio, any of these things, right? And you could just clarify any information that you might be cloudy on. And I think it's wonderful for that, because just having clarity on everything that you're working on and not having any, I don't know, just weak spots that you only partially know the information on allows you to learn things on much more of a deep level. So sometimes if there's a terminology in a piece of software, I'm not sure what it is, what is that? I just type it into the AI and get a deeper description about it. Now, there's another feature in here that's really cool, and this exists in the app for the iPad or iPhone too, but there's the assistant. Now, check this out. It'll have a conversation with me, so instead of it writing it out, it's just going to converse with me. Let's turn it on. I am wondering how I change software instruments in Logic Pro from one instrument to another.
To change a software instrument in Logic Pro, click on the instrument slot in the channel strip. This will open the instrument browser, where you can select a new instrument from the list, such as a synthesizer, piano, or drum kit. You can also quickly switch instruments by using the drop-down arrows next to the instrument name.
What is the channel strip in Logic Pro?
A channel strip in Logic Pro is like a vertical control panel for each track. It lets you manage volume, pan, mute, solo, add effects, and route audio to outputs or auxiliary tracks. It's where you load instruments, effects, and control the overall sound of each track in your project.
I'm just going to mute the microphone, going to the AI, right? So that's great. So here is the channel strip that they're mentioned, the AI mentioned, and I'm going to click this little section next to it. And this is where we can select different instruments. I have this Juno 106 from the Rolling Cloud loaded. And then I could change instruments, right? So it gave me the walkthrough. And as you get more and more experienced using DAWs or notation software, you're going to have to ask less questions. But that hump for a while at the beginning of not understanding the language and not knowing just the various windows and operations of software can really be off-putting and frustrating. So this is really a great way to I don't know, just make that process flow and be a little less frustrating and create, or I would say avoid burnout. If you're digging this video, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave me a comment. It really helps the algorithm. I'll be sharing a lot more videos to come. Thanks. See you next time.